What if I told you everything you've been taught about calories was based on a machine from the 1800s? And worse, completely ignores your hormones. Hi, everybody. I'm Marc Bates. I'm a metabolic health coach, and this is part of my question and answer series: How 19th century physics hijacked modern nutrition. Okay, let's get to the question. This insulin centric model completely flips conventional weight management advice on its head. You've described insulin as essentially the master switch that determines fat storage versus fat burning. Given this understanding, how do you explain the historical trajectory from Lavoisier's 18th century calorimeter work to Atwater's food calorie system? How did we end up applying these mechanical measurements to human physiology when the hormonal reality was so fundamentally different? Well, it's an excellent question. And you are touching on one of the deepest conceptual missteps in the history of nutrition science. The path from Lavoisier's 18th century experiments to Atwater's calorie system reflects a historical evolution of tools, but a simultaneous stagnation of biological understanding. Here's how the trajectory unfolded, and how the mechanical metaphor of food as fuel became embedded in public health, despite the body operating as a dynamic hormonal system. Okay, it starts with Antoine Lavoisier, 1780s, animal as a heat engine. So Lavoisier was a brilliant chemist who laid the groundwork for modern thermodynamics. He developed the ice calorimeter, which he used to show that animals produce heat by slow combustion of food, similar to a flame. What he did, he measured the amount of heat produced by guinea pigs, showed the heat came from burning food and oxygen. Key insight, he demonstrated energy transformation, not fat storage dynamics. So Lavoisier's model was chemical and physical, not hormonal and regulatory. Second big person is Wilbur O. Atwater. He was late 1800s to the early 1900s, quantifying food energy. So Atwater took Lavoisier's concepts further by building more precise human calorimeters. His goal was to quantify the usable energy in different macronutrients. So what he did, he measured the heat of combustion in food in a bomb calorimeter, measured intake versus output, urine, feces, heat, gas exchange, assigned average energy values, fat equals 9 kilograms or kcals, carbohydrates are 4 kcals a gram, and protein are 4 kcals a gram, adjusted for nitrogen loss. Why it was useful. So Atwater's system helped standardize food labeling and dietary planning, especially in agricultural, military rations, and institutional settings. But a crucial oversight in Atwater's system was he ignored hormonal context and assumed that all calories of a given macronutrient were metabolized uniformly across individuals. All right, then we get into the industrial age, right, which is the early 20th century, and science was dominated by mechanical analogies. The body was a machine, food was fuel, calories were units of heat, like coal in a furnace. The mindset fit well with engineering models, thermodynamic laws, especially the first law, and quantifiable reductionist science. But it completely ignored the complexity of living systems, which include hormonal regulation, enzymatic control, adaptive thermogenesis, and feedback loops. Okay? So, we get the post-war nutrition science, the rise of caloric dogma. By the 1950s, 1970s, through the 1970s, the calorie became the currency of nutrition. The USDA and American Heart Association adopted low-fat calorie counting paradigms. Weight gain was framed as a simple matter of eating too much and moving too little. This was politically convenient. It was easy to measure. It was easy to blame the individual. It's your fault. You're a glutton or you're a sloth. It's easy to base policies on food labels and calorie limits. But it neglected key discoveries already emerging in endocrinology. First was insulin's key role in fat storage. Known since the 1920s, and lipid metabolism. Glucagon, leptin, and ghrelin were not incorporated into mainstream public health thinking. Okay? So, what we got was the metabolic cost of simplicity. By clinging to Atwater's mechanical system, we taught generations to count calories instead of understanding metabolic context. We told people a calorie is a calorie, ignoring how different foods affect hunger, energy expenditure, hormonal signaling, and long-term fat storage. Meanwhile, rates of obesity, type 2 diabetes, and non-alcoholic fatty liver disease all exploded, even as calorie labels, my plate, and food pyramids spread. We applied 19th century physics to 21st century chronic diseases, and it failed miserably. So we need to reframe from calories to hormones. Modern metabolic health advocates, including researchers like Drs. Benjamin Bickman, Jason Fung, and Tim Noakes and Georgia Ede, are helping correct this trajectory. They emphasize insulin as the key determinant of fat storage, metabolic flexibility, not calorie balance, the importance of macronutrient composition, not just energy quantity. We're finally beginning to replace the mechanistic calorie model with a biologically accurate, hormone-centered model of energy metabolism. So let's look at this real quickly. 1780s, the body is a heat engine, right? That's the thermodynamics in organisms. 1890s to 1910, food as a measurable fuel. That was Atwater, standardized food energy system. It assumed uniformity across metabolic contexts. In the 1900s to 1950s, you got human-machine metaphor. It was an industrial model. Simplicity and measurability were the strengths, but it ignored adaptive biology. Okay? 1970s to the 2000s, calories in, calories out, pushed by the USDA and the American Heart Association. It was a policy-friendly model. It was easy, it was simple, but it fails in obesity, diabetes, and metabolic disease. And finally, today, emerging, we have a hormonal regulation model. This is put forward by Drs. Bickman, Fung, Ede, and hundreds of others. It's root cause understanding of what actually happens in your body, but we're still fighting the legacy dogma of calories in, calories out. Okay. Hope everyone liked that. Thanks for watching. If you have any comments or questions, please put them in the appropriate section. Let me know. We'll answer all of them. And as usual, this is a community. I'm here to try to help you understand things. If there's something that you want me to cover more fully or look at something else for you, let me know so I can work on it for you. We'll get it into the schedule right away. And if you haven't done so, please like, subscribe, share this with a friend. It helps the channel a great deal, and you'll be helping a lot of other people. Thank you so much.